Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Jerry Tope.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we present news we hope you find interesting and report on local issues and events. Call us with your news tips or topics you'd like to see covered at 970-677-4119.
We appreciate you watching DCTV. Today's show is live Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, officers charged in Montezuma County, Dolores County planning meeting update, and how to fix Colorado roads and more.
Also in the news, Silverton train updates, tennis in Cortez, the weather, sheriff's report, and the area happenings.
That and more is all coming up today, May 3rd, 2017. Now here's the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, a former Montezuma County Sheriff's deputy and former Cortez police officer faced charges of official misconduct according to a news release Tuesday from the 22nd Judicial District Attorney Will Furse. The two were involved in separate investigations by the Colorado Bureau of Investigations that concluded in April, according to Furse. Former Montezuma County Sheriff's Office Patrol Sergeant Adam Alcon faces a charge of felony theft between $2,000 and $5,000 charge and a first-degree misconduct charge. Former Cortez police officer Ruben Liska faces a first-degree misconduct charge according to Furse's release. Both misconduct charges are Class 3 misdemeanors. Liska is being charged in connection with a January 21st incident in which he allegedly had inappropriate physical contact with someone who reported a crime. The district attorney added that a CBI investigation began the day of the incident. No other charges exist in that case, Furse said, but it's something, obviously, that should not be happening during his time on duty. He added that both suspects are innocent until proven guilty. Cortez Police Chief Roy Lane and Public Information Officer Andy Brock were not available for comment on Tuesday. Alcon had worked for the Sheriff's Office for 11 years and 4 months when he was terminated as a result of the investigation on April 24th, Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin said. Alcon is suspected of stealing sheriff's equipment between January 1st and April 1st, including an ITT night vision goggle set, a patrol rifle scope, and about 200 rounds of .223 caliber ammunition. Nowlin said a department employee found out in April that the items were being sold, and CBI investigators traced them to Alcon. Nowlin said also that the department policy has changed as a result of the crime, and he's not aware of evidence that Alcon had stolen equipment before. Although the investigation started at different times, the CBI concluded them only recently, and the findings of the investigation led to the charges, according to Furse's press release.
According to the Durango Herald, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad will open the Grand Imperial Emporium and Ticket Annex, a gift shop, customer service and visitor center on Green Street in Silverton on Saturday. The Emporium will replace the Silverton Train Depot as a ticket office on the first day of what would be a busy summer season, said John Harper, general manager of the train. Reservations for 2017 have exceeded last year, and the company has scheduled 15 to 20 additional trains compared to last year. The new gift shop and ticket office will be adjacent to the Grand Imperial Hotel and visible to those stepping off the train. It will also be more accessible and visible from downtown. The company took over the space on the corner of Green and 12th Streets early this year and remodeled the building with paint and new flooring. It will be open daily from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. While this is exciting news for both the railroad and its guests, it also marks the end of an era and a bittersweet moment in the colorful history of this railroad. With the temporary closure of the Silverton Depot, however, this is not the end of the line for this marvelous structure, said Al Harper, owner of the train, in a statement. First constructed in 1882, Silverton's train depot on 10th Street was turned into a ticket office and museum after the Harper family bought it in 1999. While it's closed, the company plans to update plumbing and electrical services in the building, as well as the outdoor platform, John Harper said. The first floor of the train depot could reopen this summer with a tourism-focused set of vendors. The second floor, formerly used for employee housing, may be upgraded and to be used as temporary housing again, so crews don't have to spend so much time traveling to work on the north end of the railroad. The company will continue to use the building as office space for photographers, storage, and staff break area while it's closed. At the hotel, renovations on the new theater space, a new theater space that will host live productions and movies, are ongoing.
At the Dolores County Planning Commission regular meeting last Monday, April 24th, The only external item on the agenda was the first special event permit application presented by Bonnie Candelaria of the Groundhog Lake RV Park and Campground. The Groundhog Lake Campground and RV Park with a general store is located right on Groundhog Lake. The facilities are open seasonally from May through November. They have hosted a successful annual public 4th of July celebration for many years. Last month, the new Dolores County Land Use Special Event Permit resolution was adopted and accepted, which allows for the county to address commercial events held within the county on lands that are typically not used for such events. The decision to implement a permit and potential fee for such activity was done to allow for the county commissioners to oversee activities to ensure the health and well-being of all residents in the county. As this is the first permit application being addressed, basic discussion initially involved further explanation of several elements within the resolution text and reviewing if they were applicable for the groundhog event or not. The Planning Commission's duty is to determine if the event needs a special event permit. Is it a level 1, which goes through an abbreviated process, or level 2, which demands more extensive information, including contracts and supporting documents? At that point, they review the application to make sure it is complete before determining whether to pass it up to the county commissioners, where they review the information, set a public hearing if needed, and issue a permit if applicable. After some discussion and input from the county lawyer, Dennis Goldberg, and asking patience for this being the first application to go through the process, the board decided to go forward with a level 1 permit application, waive the fee at this point for the commissioners to determine if it is necessary in their review. The extent of the event was said to be marginal in its scope, such that it might actually not need a permit or at all, but they would like for the commissioners to be able to review it as well, since this is the first instance where the ordinance could apply. The Groundhog Lake 4th of July event will host a fishing and horseshoe tournament. All fees are paid back to the entrance as the prizes, with additional prizes supplied by the owners, Bonnie said. There will not be any fireworks this year, and there haven't been for a while, she continued. There will be a bonfire and a DJ supplying music for a dance area next to the lake. There is no entrance fee, and the estimated amount of people at the event at any given time is estimated at 100 or less. She continued to explain that this is a family fun activity for those who are already camping or renting a cabin lakeside, for the adjacent area residents, and anyone coming through the National Forest area during the national holiday weekend. It would seem that though the campground itself is commercial and the DJ music is part of a mix, but not a focal point, the permit process may not qualify under the new guidelines to require a permit. But given that this is the first time both boards have had the opportunity to review this process in a real situation, the applicant was asked to continue through this process for the next step, which is for the county commissioners to look at the application and the new permit guidelines so that they will have a chance to make that determination whether this qualifies for a level 1 permit or if it does not need a permit. The next step is for the permit process to be added to a BOCC agenda. The entire text of the resolution and the permit application are both available online at the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce website in the business section.
Cortez Journal, 7 years after the death of longtime Cortez tennis coach Jim Harkendorf, a fund set up in his name will help start a program designed to get children into the sport. The Parks and Recreation Department opened registration for a new youth tennis program in March, and Recreation Supervisor Jason Green said about 30 children ages 5 to 12 have signed up. On Tuesday, Carla Odell and Levon Harkendorf, who created the Harkendorf Court Bleacher Fund several years ago in honor of the late coach, officially donated $600 to pay for the tennis program's equipment. The Cortez Recreation Center will hold youth tennis classes every Saturday in May. The fund, which was made up of donations from tennis enthusiasts throughout Montezuma County, previously paid for the renaming of the Harkendorf tennis courts at the rec center, complete with a sign and a plaque, as well as the installation of the new bleachers. The city hasn't had many options for young tennis players since the coach's death, and Green said he hopes this program will fill that gap. Green, along with Parks and Recreation Director Dean Palmquist, will supervise the program, but Paul Morey will be the primary coach with assistance from the Parks and Recreation Department's activity leaders. Green also said he expects at least 2 volunteers from the Montezuma Cortez High School tennis team. Kids will be split up into 3 age categories to practice tennis skills. Tennis is a tough sport to get into for Cortez students, Green said, and the few high school students who have played it often have to drive to Durango in order to practice. He noted that because the new program is part of the rec center's permanent activity schedule, it's no longer dependent on a particular person, and it can continue even if the current coaches leave. Parents are also encouraged to participate alongside their kids whether they have tennis experience or not. Given the positive response so far, Green said he hopes to expand the program in the fall with classes lasting for 6 to 8 weeks and possibly including a wider age range. Right now, there's a $10 registration fee, $30 if parents want to add a child-sized tennis racket, but Green said he and Palmquist are discussing the possibility of using part of the Harkendorf Fund to offer scholarships for low-income families. Green said he's still accepting registrations for the spring tennis program, but there is a 48-person limit in order to avoid crowding the tennis courts. Parents can sign up their children by picking up a registration form at the front desk at the rec center. Dates for the fall program have not yet been announced.
From the Durango Herald out of Denver, a last-minute attempt to place a legislature-initiated transportation funding resolution on the November ballot cleared its first hurdle Tuesday, but faces an uphill battle to survive in the State House. Senate Bill 303 would establish a transfer of 5% of revenue generated by the state's sales tax annually to fund transportation infrastructure, and it asked voters to approve a bonding measure for $3.5 billion. It was passed by the Senate Finance Committee on a 3-2 party line vote, which saw Republicans favor the measure. The transfer of sales tax revenue would be paired with existing funding dedicated to transportation maintenance projects to generate more than $300 million a year for bond payments and other transportation needs. It also represents a departure from the bipartisan effort championed by leadership in the two chambers earlier this session, which proposed a half-a-cent sales tax increase. SB 303 is more in line with the revenue-neutral solution to Colorado's transportation woes House Republicans have sought since the opening days of the session, as it would prioritize existing revenue without a tax increase. The $3.5 billion generated by bonds would be directed toward the priority list identified by CDOT in an effort to get shovel-ready projects underway. Similar bills, which would put Colorado in debt for billions of dollars and prioritize funds from the state's discretionary funding for repayment, have been heard in the House and uniformly struck down by Democrats in that chamber. SB 303 is expected to meet a similar fate once it reaches the House. A common criticism of such measures, which resurfaced Tuesday, has been that they do not clearly outline which departments in the state would lose out in the transfer of funds and downplay the effects of those cuts. If SB 303 should die, it would leave a single bill on the table with a transportation component, SB 267, which does not require taxpayer input. SB 303 now heads to the Senate Appropriations Committee. And now, let's take a look at our weather.
For the Four Corners region, we're still expecting the rest of the week to be warm and sunny, and winds, though changing a bit up and down, will not be a problem. The far front left you see approaching the coast is the Pacific front mentioned in our previous broadcast. It will begin to arrive on the coast late afternoon tomorrow and begin pushing rain into the northwest Friday morning, some part of which is now expected to become a cut-off low, and at some time or other meander around and eventually reach us and affect in our great southwest. Effects will be felt sometime prior to its arrival, but its actual presence in our area is not now expected until midweek next week. Before that, there's a slight chance of thunderstorms late evening Saturday, then mostly cloudy in the rest of the night and mostly sunny Sunday. The National Weather Service says that chance may not pan out, but that's the latest. In our national forecast, a low is expected to rapidly take shape across the southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley today. The system will bring numerous showers and thunderstorms to areas from the western Gulf Coast and southern plains to the mid-Mississippi and Ohio valleys through tonight. Abundant moisture streaming northward into the system will support the potential for heavy rainfall, and flash flooding will be possible. The greatest flash flooding threat is expected across the mid-Mississippi Valley. The Storm Prediction Center is forecasting a slight to enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms across much of the western Gulf Coast and lower Mississippi Valley through tonight. On Thursday, the low will move into the Ohio Valley. Widespread showers and thunderstorms are expected ahead of the system from the southeast to the mid-Atlantic. Rain and a few thunderstorms with that system will reach New England Thursday night into Friday. High pressure will dominate the weather pattern across the western U.S. through the short-range forecast period. Generally, dry conditions are expected to prevail into early Thursday. Above average temperatures are expected, with high temperatures reaching 10 to 20 degrees above average for many areas. For our 5-day forecast, high temps have been climbing slightly as the week has progressed, and Friday is set to be the high point at 78. Sunday will drop a tad with the approach of that low. Monday and into next week, we'll just see how much of the edge it will take off of that warmth. Lows are not now set to begin at 40 tonight and hit 46 for Friday and Saturday, then trend back down to toward 40 by Monday night. Winds will be variable but mild, and a very low chance at rain late Saturday night, with next week the next play at moisture for our area. Now back to the news.
Here are more updates from the Dolores County Public Service Center and shop construction by Nunn Construction as of April 29th. Steel workers have completed sheeting on the south side of the shop and are continuing sheeting on the north side. The office area has been completely framed in, and the air barrier installation is finishing up. Stairs have been installed for the mechanical room and mezzanine area, including handrails. Mechanical duct and equipment installation has started in the office area. Plumbing and electrical rough-in is ongoing in the PSC. New AV equipment rough-in is being installed, and windows have been delivered and are being installed in the office area. Meanwhile, over at the Senior or Pioneer Center, underground rough-in is finishing up. The raw water line has been lowered, and site utilities continue being trenched and installed around the building. Coming up next, the PS&C&S will have their gas lines continue to be installed by Atmos. Site concrete work will begin in the coming weeks. The county will work the site, allowing for aprons to be formed and poured, following the steel sheet installation. Exterior sheeting on the common wall is scheduled to finish this week. Steel sheeting will continue being installed on the shop. Insulators and framers are scheduled to be on site to insulate the sheet the office area. Railings for the mezzanine will be installed in the coming weeks as well. Plumbing, electrical, and mechanical rough-in will continue and finish up in the office in the next weeks, with work to begin on the shop with completion of the steel sheeting. The shop crane is scheduled for installation also over the next several weeks. The Senior Center is looking forward to concrete crews arriving this week to begin forming the slabs. Site utilities will continue around the site, including the life station and manholes. Long lead times are being identified and procured for the Senior Center.
NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has completed its first round of tests for rocket viability. This next generation space telescope will soon be our newest and most powerful eye in space, capable of detecting infrared light, which its predecessor Hubble couldn't do. Remember, this thing can detect the heat signature of a bumblebee on the moon. The James Webb Space Telescope has long past its construction stage. The main reason it's still not on a rocket bound for space is because it's currently completing a series of tests to make sure everything's in working order and will stay that way through launch. The James Webb Space Telescope's finished testing at the Space Agency's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. It makes it one step closer to launch. The technological marvel has a series of 18 mirrored segments that will splay out like petals of a flower once in orbit. The 21-foot mirror made of beryllium is designed to catch incoming infrared light from faraway galaxies. The telescope will be able to peer through dust to make never-before-seen planetary systems visible. Webb has gone through testing such as vibration and acoustic testing to simulate the ride it will take during launch. To measure the mirror's ability to stay intact during intense vibrations, a number of safeguards had to be put in place. A completely clean room, keeping humidity and temperature as stable as possible and near launch and working condition temperatures, so nothing had to be very precise, so nothing could interfere with the measurements. They then shot tiny wavelengths of visible light at the mirror and used high-speed interferometer to monitor even the slightest of changes that could cause signal damage from vibrations. The interferometer took 5,000 frames a second faster than the actual rate of the vibrations. This allowed the team to subtract jitter for clean results. In October 2018, the telescope will be launched on an Ariane 5 rocket from French Guiana and will reach its desired orbit around the Sun, about 1 million miles from Earth, 1 month later.
The Dolores County Senior Services plays an important role in helping seniors and their families who live in the community and surrounding area. It is one of the most important and utilized social service agencies in the area. According to the agency, their mission is to provide older adult services for seniors that enable them to live independently with dignity in their homes as long as possible. The senior population in the county makes up 20% of the total population and continues to grow daily, they said. They strive to improve the lives of the older population in this rural area through many programs, such as providing hot meals, transportation, homemaker and caregiver services, and other essential services that increase the quality of life for the elder community. Dolores Senior Services is entering a new chapter in better serving the senior community with the building of a new senior center I mentioned in the last segment. The new center will be located in Dove Creek and is set to be completed in the fall of 2017. The new center will be named the Pioneer Center in honor of those courageous men and women who settled this land. The Pioneer Center will be a focal point of the senior community and a gathering place for the entire community, their press release states. The new center will include a fully equipped commercial kitchen to provide the delicious and nutritious senior meal program. In preserving future operating funding, they are conducting a capital campaign to help buy and install this kitchen equipment that is so vital to an effective and efficient meal program. They are asking for the public's assistance and generosity in fulfilling the campaign goal of $20,000. They are looking for contributions to allow them to continue in their work serving seniors. The campaign is sending out letters to the community at large, detailing this request with a pledge card. If you have questions, the Capital Campaign Committee includes Nita Perkett, Gus Westerman, Barbara Saunders, and Margaret Webb. All of their phone contacts are online at the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page.
And now, continuing updates from the Sheriff's Roundup for the week of April 24th through April 30th. A Cajon resident located a young black lab. If anyone's missing a black lab, please contact the Sheriff's Office. A resident requested assistance with a report of mail theft. The case is currently under investigation. A report was also made of two vehicles heading toward Utah driving dangerously and swerving into oncoming traffic. All agencies were notified of the report. A subject reported vandalism to a residence, and that case is under investigation. That's it for this week's Roundup. Stay tuned next week for more updates.
Here's today's High Canyon Country happenings. Best of the Fest Durango Independent Film Festival is Saturday, May 6th at 7 p.m. at the Sunflower Theater in Cortez. General admission is $12. It runs till 9 p.m. For more details on what that will be showing, visit durangofilm.org or call 970-375-7779. Also coming up at the Sunflower Theater on Sunday, May 7th, Jeffrey Foucault with special guest Megan Burt will be on stage. Admission is $17 in advance or $20 at the door. They say he's one of the finest songwriters of his generation. Jeffrey Foucault has taken, in his own words, the small roads, building a brick-and-mortar independent international touring career of 10 studio albums, countless miles, and critical accolades. The show begins at 7 p.m. Popular rock band Jerry Joseph and the Jack Mormons has just been announced as the headline for this year's Dolores River Festival on June 10th at Joe Roll Park in Dolores. The jam band plays nationally and internationally and has deep roots in the American rock scene. Many of Joseph's songs, including North, Climb to Safety, and Chainsaw City, are staple tunes played by jam band supergroup Widespread Panic. One of his first bands was Little Women, a popular reggae band in the 1980s. Joseph tours Europe under the band name Stockholm Syndrome with Panic bassist Dave Schools. Leading up to the headliner, the Dolores River Festival features an equally impressive bill of 10 local and national acts. Tickets for the music festival are $20 in advance or $25 the day of the show. For tickets and more information, visit online doloresriverfestival.org. A few local notices at the end of the High Country happenings. A reminder that the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce is meeting Thursday, May 4th at Deb's Diner for updates for the community. All are welcome to attend. And later on Thursday, May 4th at 7 p.m. at the Old Pinion Cafe, the Pick and Hoe chairpeople are hosting a meeting to discuss the activities preparing for that annual community event. And this Saturday, May 6th, the newly formed Dove Creek Center for the Arts will be meeting at 6 p.m., potentially at the D.C. Press Office. A note will be posted there if the location has changed. If you've missed any of those details, don't worry. All of the happenings are listed on the DCTV Facebook page. Check it out. If you have news or event information you'd like us to share, send us an email at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us here at the station. The number is 677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday and rebroadcast at 3 and 6, and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order.
And please check us out on Facebook, DCTV News at Noon. Like us there and join the local conversation and share it with a friend.
For Kinder Cook and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, I'm Jerry Tope. Thanks for watching.